Well, hello everyone, hope you all are doing well today, and welcome to the start of a lovely Manor Lords gameplay, which I am hoping is going to be nice, calm, tranquil, all of the good things, but normally, whenever I get into something, it just turns chaotic out of nowhere. So let's hope, fingers crossed, everything's going to be good, right, okay, awesome. And, we have a beautiful little spot over here overlooking Lake Lemm. Now, for those of you who remember when I tried Manor Lords out before, I was actually on the same map, but I decided I wanted to be down over here this time, right alongside the water, hoping for some sort of fish deposit, and that really didn't happen. But on the flip side, I do have a wonderful stone deposit over here that is a rich node, and a rich node when it comes to berries. There are some other things littered around here, some wild animals, some iron over there I can tap into, and some clay, and I don't think much else. But apart from that, we're going to be building a nice little settlement over here. I'm thinking about having the manor over in this spot, but we'll see what happens as we continue to go forward. And I do have it set to dominance. I don't know whether I'm actually going to be doing that or not, but we'll see. We'll see. As time progresses, as I mentioned, the things can get chaotic. But what I'm going to do is, because for those of you who don't know, I guess probably a better way of saying it, I come from the Anno community, so I mostly record videos on Anno 1800 and Anno 117 recently, so right now I'm attempting to do what I can to branch out just a little bit, even in the city builder genre, and wanting to get back into Manor Lords. I've been playing it a fair amount just by myself, you know, to really get used to the game, and very much enjoying it, obviously. So I want to see what happens about maybe starting this up again. First things first, I'm going to be linking up our first logging camp, and along with that, I do want to mention, because I do have a fair number of Anno players who haven't played this game as well, I'm going to be explaining certain things about Manor Lords that is going to be a little bit different from what we know over there. So the typical startup being that we're getting a woodcutter's lodge, honestly, over here that they call it the logging camp. We're going to get that going because we have to have our base resources, our construction resources going, right? And the way that this essentially works is we start off with 5 unassigned families. Those unassigned families can be assigned to damn near anything, and they can be swapped in between different resource nodes. They can be swapped in between, I don't know, from farming to hunting to being in the military. Doesn't matter. We can still change them out however we please based off of the needs of our people. And along with that, we also have the opportunity to farm, which we can see if my territory is even worth a damn when it comes to well, you know, that is in fact the first time I have ever had a starting region have the Emmer fertility, and I'm building on it. Okay. Oh, you know what? This entire side over here, this guy's got the rich fertility, doesn't he? The same goes for flax. Do I have any flax? No. I never get barley. How the hell is this place so good for farming and I don't... Okay. And, yeah, well, yep, same spot again. Right, pretty decent over there. There's a couple pockets. That side was looking mighty fine, yeah. This guy hit the literal jackpot when it got to farming, which is fine. I have some berries. I'm just going to be building up my plots anyway, so that should be totally fine. So from time to time, I'm going to be explaining a little bit more in depth. So for you guys who have played Manor Lords for quite a long time, obviously you can probably skip through that. But I do like to explain a good amount about what I am doing. So we have to have our granary set up, and I think a better location for at least our first storehouse, I kind of thinking like right about here. Go ahead and connect some roads up to it like that. And I do also want to have another hitching post for another ox, because these are the ones that are going to be obviously transporting all of the, for example, the logs to the storehouses and etc., based off of where we are going to be building. So it's kind of important to have more than just the one. And we're going to set the priority system. So I'm going to go over here, logging camp, going to make that the highest. Followed by, you know what, I'll follow that by the granary. Let's put that at very high. then the storehouse to be at high, and then I assume they're going to build the hitching post within like a millisecond. We do stand to make a good amount of money early game, and just, I guess, for the long-term future. The stone surface deposit right over here that is a rich, endless node is going to allow us to build a lovely quarry. And by building the quarry, it allows us to get the rough stone, which we can craft, in a way. I'm saying it craft. We don't physically craft it. We don't do anything about it. What we do is we build this particular stonemason station, and they create dress stone out of it. This you can sell for a lot of good money. Along with that, we can also have a lime kiln, which will take the rubble stone that comes from this and create mortar. All of those put into one, you can put it into a lovely trading post and sell it to your heart's content. That way we can just build tall for some time and then work to probably take over the entirety of this realm. So our main goals at the moment are going to be to go after the brigand camps. They're going to give us some influence and increase our wealth in our own personal treasury. So you have two different currencies. You have one personal treasury over here, which I will explain later on as it does indeed become a little bit more relevant. And then you have your regional wealth, which is essentially when you put down the burgage plots that are the equivalent of the houses in Anno 1800, for example. That's where you get a little bit of passive income, but it's not sufficient enough for you to actually continue on with your expansion path throughout this region by itself. You have to work on it. So we're going to assign our first family over here to the logging camp. I'm just going to put the one, and I'm going to set an advanced work area of about like yay big. Yeah, I think I like that. That should get us going for a good amount of time. And I want to see what the next spot is, so we're definitely getting the granary set up. I think, matter of fact, I'm going to put 2 families on that. I do want to try to get a good amount of logs first, or timber. In this game, that's what they refer to as a timber. Okay, you don't have to come out there with the crate. You did it twice. It's fine. They're all out there. We'll transport it in a second. Unreal. But as you notice, we put 1 person on the granary and 2 people now in the logging camp just to get some initial logs going. I do also want to get another ox, so we did have enough to purchase one. And you don't need to put people with this. That's the one thing that I didn't understand in the first time that I played it for the channel, which I made a complete idiot of myself, but nevertheless, that's how you learn, right? You don't need to put anybody with them. They will just go and like grab the ox and pull it wherever it needs to go, pretty much. And the people that we have on the storehouses for now, our storehouses and the granary, are going to be collecting the goods that are just out here and putting them into the storehouse and granary respectively. So right now we only have 14 wheat bread. That is going to last us for 2 months for our current population size, which is pretty trashed. What we need to do is we need to exploit this berries rich node. I want to see where I can put the forager hut. It'll look kind of cool. I think I like this spot. Yeah, it's in between the trees. Nice little clearing in here. So I'm going to plop it down in there. And then I'm going to make a nice looking weird-ish type road, pulling it out of there. And one other cool thing that we can do, you can press this visitor mode, is you can walk around. So we can go and see the site of where we have this forager hut tending to come up. Just reminds me running through White Orchard back in Witcher, dude. It's so pretty. And this is going to be the spot. Lovely. So our construction crew is going to head on over here, going to start working on this forager hut, whilst we have to start working on a couple of other things, specifically getting some burgage plots built up. Now, if I were to go over to here in the storehouse, I don't have any timber up in there, and I only have 2 timber just lingering about right over there. So let's take a look-see at what we can do to sort out that problem as quickly as possible. Have these two crews build a forager hut. We do want somebody working in there as quickly as possible to start working on the berries node itself. That's a really, really important thing we need to do. If you happen to come across like a berries node early game, that is indeed very, very good, because I've found that you just do not run out of food when you have that. You run out of food constantly when it comes to the animals. I don't know why, but that is a different matter entirely. Okay, we're currently sitting at 8 timber. Pretty good. Let's keep stockpiling a little bit more. We have the one person working in the forager hut, and they will automatically travel over to the granary site over here to deposit. They haven't yet, but they definitely will. And let's talk about getting our first burgage plots built up. Now, I guess it's probably important for me to see where the underground water sources are. Oh, well, yep. In fact, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I can probably go ahead and put down a well right over here, because our people are going to be needing a fresh water source. So we're going to go ahead and build a well right there. And I'm going to be constantly swapping in and out of the fast forward mode just to make sure that we do get a decent amount of progress throughout the playthrough. And I believe that's just standard. But I do want to mention, if you're at this point in the video, be quite penetrated by your kindness if you take a moment to take a look-see at the channel if you're new here. Have the links for Instagram, Twitch, Discord, all that stuff in the description. Be very, very appreciative having you guys here, as we're a community on the rise. We're going to run with the big boys one day, and we'd love for you to be a part of our group. So, that is my spiel. That's all you're getting. Oh, look at that. That's, in fact, a pretty cool-looking plot size. I do want to have larger backyards to start off, and I'm going to go with this exactly. Yep. We'll build up our first 4 there. I want to see if I can try to do something similar over on this side, perhaps. We can also reduce the size of the plots based off of the amount of timber that we do have. And look, I personally, I like this, okay? I like this design. I don't mind having like individual burgers plot houses for the plots to start off and then having some expansions there. But look at the size of the backyard for those two. Tell me that's not going to work out to our advantage later on when you have a whole bunch of fruits that are being cultivated. So I'll have some fruits, we'll have some chimkins, we'll have, I don't freaking know, we'll have some cabbages, some fresh cabbages. Everyone like their cabbages. Yeah, there we go. I said cabbage one too many times, I don't know why. And we're just going to have our people go to and from. So right now, because of the forager hut, we have around 7 to 8 months worth of food for our people, and I think it's going to look rather nice around the granary after we've built up the plots, because every single time you build one of these, there's a little fence area that pops up around it to just really show the plot line for that particular family. And this is the way that we're going to be getting more people to come to our little settlement of Mandlak. I think that's how you say it. I have an interesting name. Currently, we're just transporting all of the timber that we need, so while that is indeed happening, don't mind me, I'm just going to take a quick sip of my tea. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Oh, man. So good. They're probably not advisable to have tea at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Especially if you have insomnia. How many of us suffer from insomnia? Raise your hands. Yep, I knew that. And I guess it's also important to mention, anybody who does come across this video and you're new here, I do very much appreciate comments. So by all means, I'd love to know that you're here. I'm that type of content creator that really enjoys talking to everybody that comes around and getting to know more people. I think that's really important as a content creator to do, get to know the audience and form that friendship. It's really important. Never been that type of person to not want to do that. I can't get behind the rationale of people who just do not wish to ever attempt to get to know who's here supporting their rise, you know? It just does not make sense to me. This is taking a lot longer than what I imagined it would be. But what we can do is take a look-see at the other holdings and see what they have going on, because with the most recent patches, the other settlements do indeed work quite well. So Or not quite well. They work well. What is happening here? A charcoal kiln in town. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. They have some plots going up, a good amount of them. They have a rich clay deposit, which that is quite nice. And this is so pretty. Look at where they put the fisherman's hut, dude. Okay, I'm gonna have to snag that idea for later if I ever come across a rich fish node like that. It is gorgeous, man. I love the roads that just go through the tree lines like that. Okay, another rich surface stone deposit and iron. That's going to be really important. These guys have a rich iron and animals. Kind of happy I don't have this area. Not yet, at least. Have a couple of plots, and they're already getting their cabbages. Are those cabbages or those are carrots? Damn. I didn't think they would go that fast. Jesus. Where are they building? This one seems to be like on par with like what we're doing to an extent. They have some backyards, but they haven't really done much else with them quite yet. So I'm looking as if this is pretty favorable for us. But we're getting our first burgage plot built up, and for our Anno friends, that is indeed the way that they look here. And you can expand them over time. So the upgrade mechanic in Manor Lords is pretty much by satisfying, again, the conditions of your people. So you need to have like a marketplace, providing them with the fuel that they need. So like charcoal and maybe firewood, that's all important. Providing them fish and vegetables. Problem is, we don't have, like, meat source apart from whether we want to, like, tap into this wild animal situation, which we probably should, but the most important thing to take away here is the backyards, which I really want to make sure that we start working on as quickly as possible. And our people are indeed moving into the houses, which is fantastic. And as I predicted, not only did we get the message, being a small village, I did indeed manage to get a little fence area around the granary. That's really pretty. I can dig it. Let me get rid of this new message. We're going to have to form a militia. Really, really nice. And we have the ability to construct expansions. So, like, if you have a larger plot like this, you can have an expansion in which you can have another family move into that expansion. The problem is, and this is where it kind of, like, depends on your own playstyle as a Manor Lords player, some people just really incentivize going for, like, a single house per plot. I personally like to mix it up. That's just who I am as a player. I'm never going to conform to meta, never have been, never will. You can construct the expansions, but they won't give you extra money. They'll just give you a little bit of extra pop, which I'm okay with. And because we reached a small town status, we can go ahead and select from the first origins. Now, this game is still very much in development. If you hadn't noticed at the bottom right over here, we're in early access. The team behind this game works on it quite a lot. It's a smaller team from what I've been led to believe, so obviously these things will come later on. And if this does well on the channel, believe me, we will have more Manor Lords, absolutely. And this is where you get to choose what you want your, at least this particular settlement to focus on. So if we looked at it well enough before, which 70% of us probably did, we noticed that we had a really good stone deposit, which I want to prioritize. Looking at it for the long term, we can really focus on that. Our farming is going to be lackluster, for sure. Our hunting is not great. Our weapons production is probably going to be like virtually non-existent for some time, unless we import the stuff that we need. So what we should really focus on is trying to get something to boost those mines. So the first one over here, and I'll go through them slowly if you are new, so you can take a look-see at what each one provides. Like, for example, this one would give us an upgrade for the hunting houses, in which we get a hound, and we get some more food as a result of it. You have the journeymen over here that are good for making bows and all that good stuff. So, like, increased militia combat effectiveness is fantastic, but the decreased mining labor speed is bad because we have to rely on the mining here. Regensburg Guildsmen, not bad. Tried this out before. Don't like the malice when it comes to the land tax, but the salt and iron import value reduction is pretty decent. I might take this one for our first settlement. The smiths, it does not matter. We don't have anything to really tie into that. Clothes, it's okay. The Strasbourg Masons are also intriguing because of the increased improvements to the stonemasons and stone gatherers. As you recall, we do have a rich node, so I believe that's how this really works in here. Reduced castle planner costs. It could work for us or it can't. I mean, the castles don't do much as opposed to, like, they have worked on them so you can build walls and whatnot, but what they're really good for is just increasing your influence, and you can tax through it. Not a lot, but you can tax through it. It's not bad. The Nuremberg Prospector is also not a bad one, specifically for the improved mining integrity. Increased retinue cost does suck. Mining import discounts. Overall, not bad, this. And then the hinterlands effective farming and elevation. We don't have that ability here to the extent that we should. So it's really a toss-up between the guildsmen or the masons. And I think we're going to go with the masons. Because our hunting is not going to be, like, significant, okay? It's just 16 animals that we have over here that we're going to work on, hopefully, to get a little bit of them, as we do need to have some fresh meats. You have to get some meats in the granary. We can't only survive on berries, though our people are going to be extremely healthy as a result of that, let me tell you. So are we, like, completely forgotten about this plot? I think that's what happened. But we have plenty of food. Now we don't have a lot of fuel. So after these guys are pretty much done with building the plots along with the expansions over here, what we need to do is we need to work on fixing that fuel situation, as we really do not want to go further into the red, especially with winter coming. God damn, like they wholeheartedly said, no, screw this plot, we're not even going to care about it. How about we set that to the highest priority? Because that's looking real bad just being that way. It's technically the first possible plot that we could have. Okay, God bless. Thank you. It's having a little bit of a nervous breakdown because of how long it was taking for them to build it. Unreal. Alright, so we want to go ahead and put a woodcutter's lodge around here. I think I want to keep all of the woodworking type stuff in the same general location. So I'll take this little bit and put it here. Even link it up there. It doesn't really work out too well, does it? We can link it up over, like, right here. And then the next one will be the saw pit, but we don't have enough of a workforce at the moment to really work on all that. But whilst they're building that particular building, we have to go and take a look-see at our plots. So the only thing, this is how you figure out their requirements and whatnot. The only thing that they have access to at the moment is the water access, and that is just simply because a well is present. I believe it's 15 burgers plots per well. Could be a little bit foggy on the details. However, the other things are not being provided. So they don't have, we'll talk about the bandit camp in a second. We don't have a bunch of vegetables that they're consuming. There's no meats, no fish, no animal produce, none of that. No fuels, no church access. That one's pretty easy. That one's pretty easy. It's really these two balancing them out, because you actually have to, well, forage and hunt for them, right? But the most important thing here is you need to build a marketplace, and that is exactly what we need to do immediately. So we go to the residential and the marketplace. They don't have to take time to build this. It is literally just put it down in a cool spot and just leave it. And I kind of want to try something like this. It's a larger market area, but well, I kind of like this one. What I'm trying to do is, like, in the center here, just have a whole bunch of market stalls later on as the settlement hopefully does increase. And that way we just have a bunch, like an entire row, like a Grand Bazaar. Even though it's, like, completely, like, a Grand Bazaar is, like, completely down south. We're all the way up here in the north. And we now have our two little stalls, in which, if we go over here, you'll see that they're consuming the berries, because there is indeed a little stall for it. But they don't have the fuel quite yet, because no one is working over here. But we have a new family. And the new family is going to go work in the woodcutter's lodge, collect some of the logs from this logging camp, turn it into firewood, deliver it into the storehouse, and the storehouse is going to take it and put it to the marketplace, in which case these guys are going to consume it. It sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. There is one little quality of life that I'm going to do first, though. I do not like where this poor thing is just big chillin' back there. I'm going to take him and put him, like, right here next to the storehouse. It normally comes up with, like, double of that. We're going to have to see if we have enough to form our first spearman unit. We only have 11 recruits, but what we can do is we can go ahead and click to form a spear militia. And we have 20 spears and shields, so we can still wait until we have more people in Mandlak before deploying our unit. And we definitely want to go after these bandit camps, because if we don't, they're just going to steal stuff from us. It's a random whatever they take, and we don't want that to happen. And defeating bandit camps are just going to increase our influence and our treasury when we go and take out the main tents that they do have. So now we're at 12. And it just happens slowly as your settlement continues to expand. I do want to pre-plan getting down here to the stone deposit. I think I'll do, first of all, is get the road built up on the other side. I do like that. And then we'll have a road go through here for the most part. Hopefully this will work out well. And fingers crossed. You never know. I can check to see if we have any empty houses. If we don't, then we're going to have to build some more. Otherwise, we're not going to have more people. So residing family 1 of 2. Residing family 1 of 2. So we have room for two more families, pretty much. Yeah. So staying in fast forward is definitely going to be our best friend here. And we should start seeing somebody work from the woodcutter's lodge to bring in a bunch more firewood for us. And firewood is something that we can sell early game just to make a little bit more regional wealth. It's really important to make that go up as quickly as possible. I don't know why it's taking forever for this to even function, but oh, nope, someone's working in it. Good, good, good. Love to see it. Okay, the hitching post has been built up over here. Wonderful. And we have another new family. So if we go and take a look-see over here, now we're at 14 out of 36. Still slow, steady increases over time. That's legit what Manor Lords is all about. And I'd like to exploit these wild animal nodes. I think it might be a wee bit too early, because if we hunt them and not have the church access quite yet, we might run into a wee bit of a problem. So what I think I'm going to do is from here, now I'm going to build a road all the way to this node over on this side. It's going to be real important. And I totally forgot, we're going to need to build up a saw pit so we can get some planks from all of that timber. I'm going to put that right over here. We have an additional family, so they can indeed go and work in that. Let's just take a little look-see. So 2 out of 2. Still 1 out of 2, so we have a little bit more room for another family to pop on in. And you will see more market stalls pop up the moment that you add more people to, like, the granary and the storehouse, which is a really nice looking feature. I do quite enjoy this. Let's just go ahead and see this thing being built up really quick. Good amount of fuel, good amount of food. Love to see it on both angles. We have a generic storage that's full. So now it's going to be worked on. Have one person working in the saw pit, and that is our other family ready to go. What I would like to do is I'd like to get a good amount of planks in order to build up the surface deposit over here. Rather, just go straight into the quarry so I can start working on getting rough stone and working on that aspect, and we'll make a lot of money that way. However, we don't have enough family spots to get more people. So we're going to build up a couple more of these burgish plots. I believe that's a good amount. We have like additional 3, so go ahead and plop those down. We'll see those rise. We'll have to have a good spot for our wooden church. Because this is where we want to have our castle, it might not be a bad idea to have it around here. Potentially, I would like to have like a road, or at least a row of maybe like a bloomery, a smithy, a clay furnace, stuff like that, a tannery, heck, even a malt house, all up in this spot to like simulate we have a growing community type spot over here. Like you want to go to the market, you get a whole bunch of stuff. Apart from here, you go over there. You get your tools from like a smithy over there. And you can build the backyards as well, but we just need more money in order to do that. We can get like the vegetable plots going, but we can't buy the seeds easily. We need to legitimately pay for them. Pay for the seeds, rather. And once we have these ones built up, I will go ahead and get that surface deposit worked on. I want to see what we're currently at. 24 timber and 10 planks, looking mighty fine. And that is another burgish plot built up. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get this quarry up and running. This is extremely important. I think the note should be active. It seems like it's a little bit wider there. Yep. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then after they have built this, set that to the highest priority. We are going to build up our lovely trading post. We're going to build the trading post. We could have it here, or we could put it here. I'm kind of digging putting it here. Low key. Yeah, I kind of like that. We have 4 families. I haven't assigned them to anything quite yet because I do want to massively start working on this. So like 2 people working in the quarry and then 1 person working in the stonemason station. So I want to go ahead and build this one as well. We'll keep a majority of like the materials for these like over here per se. Yeah, I like that spot. And it's a close proximity to the trading post, so we can just take the dress stone over in there. There's going to be a traveling merchant, comes and picks it up. We do have to pay for that route, though. We have some goods that we can sell off. Not a big deal. Let's see about the church. We need 20 planks. We have everything else for the most part, which is fantastic. Another family has moved in. Excellent. We'll need to keep somebody working in the trading posts. And hopefully we'll get a priest. And hopefully it'll be a young priest, so the entire village will be able to get to know him for the long term. Wonderful. And now we will assign 1 family to the trading post, and we're going to start with some basic trades. If we look over here, so fuel for 15 months, that is a lot of firewood. I'm going to start exporting this. I want to bring it down to around like having 30. Yeah, 30 of the desired surplus of firewood should be fine. Because I do need, this is where the dress stone really is. The dress stone being in major trades, you're going to have to pay for establishing a legitimate route. And that goes for a decent amount of money. So in order to get there, we need to have 50 regional wealth and then set this to export. We can already set it to export already, but nothing's going to happen. Because number 1, we haven't even made anything quite yet. And number 2, we have to establish the route. See? For everyone who were here before, I've gotten better. I'm 70% positive I'm going to do better this time. Guaranteed. That is an actual guarantee, by the way. 70% guarantee. That means there's 30% room for error. Or we can say 25% room for error. That additional 5% is something crazy happens, in which case I lose my goddamn mind. But I'm already losing my goddamn mind on a daily basis. So that's yeah, we're going to move over on that one. So we had a little bit of a passive trade. Oh, we're at 50 already. Excellent. And yes, I am going to spend all of it right here to establish the route. because I want to get this stuff going ASP. Another interesting thing that we can potentially consider doing is making some mortar, which I did mention before. And the mortar can also be sold in the trading post for a decent amount. It is on the minor trades. I want to see if we export it. It'll only be one export, so maybe I hold off on that for the time being. This is going to be a fantastic way of building up our burgers plot backyards, especially because we want to have different food varieties. I will tell you straight up that the berries is not going to be enough. This wild animal deposit is not going to be enough. We have to utilize our backyards, hence why they're so large. And I think the first 2 or 3, rather, that I would work on, probably these 2 and this one, just so I can see the backyard behind the granary actually worked and looking really mighty fine. Now we have access to the church. So I think I'd like the church to go right about here. Yeah? Where else? Where's another interesting spot that we can put the church? We could also put the church like along the road here. So you have like your traveling merchants. Maybe they just want to come and pray for like a second. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Absolutely. Saw pit is all well and good. We have like 50 planks in there. We're going to take that person off. And as you see, we are at 110 regional wealth, which is incredible. We can go ahead and purchase a horse, which I think I would like to do later on. At the moment, it should be fine because we're just constantly selling things and we're not mass producing it quite yet. It's rather on the slow side of things at the moment. There's only one person working in the stonemason station at the moment and 2 people working in the quarry. It should be okay enough to not have a horse. But for the backyard of this burgers plot, I want to go ahead and start with some vegetable gardens. They have the road going through the granary side. That's kind of cool. And then for these 2 burgers plots, I want to have an orchard for both because they're so large. These guys can have vegetable gardens as well. Or rather, we can have 2 vegetable gardens, 2 for the fruits. And maybe we can have a chimkin and another chimkin. Not bad. The plan is really build wide and build tall kind of at the same time early game so we can get our stockpiles going. Are we really building anything apart from these? And then these guys, we can turn them into apiaries. Apiaries are going to be really important as we'll hopefully build them here in a second. I'm just waiting for these all to start up. Obviously, these 3 are not going to start up, or at least these 4, rather. We do need to purchase the seeds. I might want to just do that really quick. So, depending on the plot size, that's how much well, not exactly. It really depends. However larger it is, the more money it's going to cost to purchase, like, for example, these pears. I personally like pears. I don't care that it takes 4 years. I like the fact that it is a high yield, okay? That is fantastic. But apparently I can't do that quite yet. I'm not going to waste some money on quinces. I don't really want to waste some money on apples either. I might have 1 pear and 1 apple. I think that's a good idea. But when it comes to the burgers plots for vegetables, I definitely love cabbages. So we're going to get cabbages go in that one. And we'll have carrots, which are a medium yield. So you have a high yield with cabbages, and it'll be a medium yield for carrots. But this is what I was talking about with regards to the apiaries. It's going to help pollination, and it'll increase the effectiveness. So that's what we definitely like to see. So seeds purchased on both. The dress stone doing wonders for us already. Let's set this to the highest priority so we can get this church built. I really want to just end the episode off with walking through our growing township. That's really important. In fact, we can't even build the apiaries because we don't even have enough money. It's cost like 50 regional wealth each. Get passive yield of honey and every 30 yield of wax. So I don't even know if there are candles up in here. What do we use the wax even for? I don't think it's in the game yet. Is it? Or is it not? You veterans of Manor Lords will be able to answer that question. Still don't have the guide that showed up here. And we're gonna go ahead and upgrade the storehouse and the granary after we've built up the wooden church and had our priest working in there. So let's go ahead and put one dude up in there and immediately work to upgrade the storehouse and the granary. I don't want to run into problems with either, especially now that I know that this storehouse is completely full. Room for nothing else. Transport goods, 112 out of 16 planks. Let's go. So if we screw up with the, what is that, 98 planks, then we have, this should be okay. And we survived our first winter. Oh, crap. I didn't even fight any bandits. Is there one over in this region? Oh yeah, there is, in fact. They're kind of close to one another. Well, I do want to have a little bit of military fighting, conflict, what have you, in the first episode. So let's summon forth the militia. Let's hope none of them die in the process. But we're going to have to go on a little bit of a scenic journey. I'll have them walk. Where's the camp? It's right there. So if I can try to incentivize a bridge battle, and I think I can, they will aggro by the time I get there. We have some raiders near. I'm going to track their movements in 365 days. So in a year, they'll be here. Not bad. I think I can grow our militia a little bit better in that year's time frame. Kind of surprised why this dude hasn't shown. Oh, that might be him. 250. Hell yeah. Instantly buy pairs. See how fast my... Oh, what the crap? Oh, what the hell? That was not supposed to happen. I didn't think they would aggro that fast. But they did break. We did lose, unfortunately, 2 men in that. That's awful. I should have paid attention to that. It's fine. When we get some of our arms productions going, we can definitely recover from losing 2 men in that. Not a big deal. But what we'll do now is we're going to say this belongs in my treasury, and that gives us 112 treasury amount and 360 influence. We can also increase our influence via another route, but I'm going to save that for when we do have our manor house built up. And I'm not certain whether I said this before, but I think the traditional, based on a little bit of research that I did, Manor Lords type videos length-wise are around like 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to kind of stick to that one. I'm going to definitely go to like 45 minutes in the first episode. And then after that, we'll see just how it works. So we have our people over here working to plant the cabbages, the carrots, and the pear trees. And we have 2 apiaries that are forming up over here. I do want a third in this burger's plot as well. All this thanks to the fact that we have a stone deposit over here that's never going to run out. That is just chef's kiss, dude. Love it when a plan comes together. And there is our upgraded granary. Absolutely incredible. Now, there is one thing that's really important. I do have to mention this, and this is in the hopes that Manor Lords devs actually do happen to come across little old me, and that is the severe lack of banners in Manor Lords. Okay, now I am aware that when you have full units, you can see their flags and also the sigil that you've come up with. That's fantastic. Yeah, pretty good. But the most important thing to take away here is the fact that you need banners in your life, okay? Banners instill pride. Pride in your nation. Pride in your people, and they will fight harder as a result of it. So there should be banners in the game as far as cosmetics as quickly as possible. Because as much as I do love the shrine, I think we can all acknowledge that having a wicked awesome banner every couple feet pretty much throughout your settlement is just going to improve morale all the time. Yeah, I know you're agreeing with me. Oh no, you're nodding your head up and down, up and down. If not, see me in my office. Oh my god, I ruined that so much. Our settlement is looking mighty fine just to start off. The church is always a nice build. I always love looking at the church design. And hopefully we'll be able to upgrade it to a stone church. We're going to need some clay, so the clay deposit that's all the way over back in that direction needs to be worked on. Along with continuing to expand our burgage plots, get more people up in here, try to figure out other types of resources that they require and all that good stuff. But as we're walking over here, I think that's a good stopping point. Our settlement is looking mighty fine and the scenery is absolutely beautiful. Please consider like, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell button, sharing it with your friends. Hyping the videos always helps, my friends. And I'll catch you in the next episode of my Rantians.